All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Josh, and welcome back to Imini Bay. Listen. Here's the thing. Um, this is actually the second video I've cut today, and I cut it because I'm annoyed and I'm waiting for someone, and I'm also in between thunderstorms. So this is going to be a little shorter than the last one. With any luck at all, we're going to be focusing on two particular problems. One problem is going to be urgent. We're going to have to do it while the game is paused, else we may as well just set fire to the whole city. And as it turns out, it looks like the city is doing just fine being on fire as it is. The other thing is less important. We'll try to do it on or off of pause as much as we can to build up some money. And that's going to be rerouting this whole highway. And by rerouting, I mean just laying out a whole brand new track, leaving the existing track until we're ready to merge it together. But while that's important, it is future importance. But right now, as we came to the end of Imini Bay on the last video, I noticed that we've got some traffic congestion building up here, and I'm looking at this. Look, this is all focused coming through here. It's going up. It's not really going over. Some of it's going down, and a lot of it's coming through here. And I know why this has happened. It's happened because we went ahead and made a couple of connections up here that I hadn't planned on and didn't think anything of it when I did it. I just thought, oh, country roads go that way. As it turns out, the game's decided, well, hey, this is the best intersection possible to get into the city. And okay, respect. But, but, we have two real options to fix this. We can either buy more tiles that I don't need, and instead of allowing this network over here, we redirect it over here, which will force all of this traffic to come down, hit this, and then come over here. But we know from days gone by that this already is a little bit of a traffic headache in that it is shunting a lot of traffic down here into Copper Heights, Copper Bluff. And that's really only going to get worse as we expand over here. Now, once we start expanding over here, this this intersection, will be a lot more traffic. But really, until we have this and this tidied up and brought up into line with Cooper Bluff and Hawthorne and Elizabeth, then honestly, it's gonna be funky. That is going to be a dramatic problem. And I'm kind of annoyed because we're going to use the same type of interchange right here as we did over here. And it's like, if I had to drive through that, I would hate the city planner. Um, but I think just the way that the traffic has changed itself and adapted to this game, adapted to our play, this is just the way it's going to be. Now, with that said, we are going to come down and we are going to zone in a lot of low density through here. I'm going to make a point imminently to come down and do this just to fill this in because just scanning out, looking at this, the fact that there's nothing here is starting to bug me. We can fix it. We just need to build some things. So let's get started because this is going to take a little bit. And like I said, we are going to have to do this on pause because we are going to be deleting a lot. We're going to make the simulation choke for a little bit. I am not going to enjoy this, especially getting that railway redone. But with any luck at all, this shouldn't take us more than half an hour, 45 minutes. So let's work it to the bone. And if you're wondering, yeah, while I didn't pre-test this, I did log in and I was like, huh, what can I possibly do to fix this? And this is the solution I made. Well, decided on, not made. Haven't made it yet. We're getting ready to. All right, so um, when looking at this, I want to explain my reasoning. We could put this intersection in, and this intersection does a lot of good, but look where the on-off ramps come in at both tips. Basically, the only way that those will work with this game is if you turn them into a roundabout, at least for a decent sized traffic volume. And if we do that, then basically we've got a dumbbell interchange on crack, and I don't I don't like them. So Since the roundabout's no longer doing it, we will go ahead and we will do the cloverleaf intersection and see what else we have to delete to make this fit. Like, I'm hoping I don't have to delete those office buildings. The goal is to get it to fit right there without moving the train depot. So, the highways, the rail, we don't have much more to delete. So let's bulldoze this out down to there. Get rid of that. I'm also going to go ahead and get rid of that particular node. We'll reset that shortly. And we do want to make sure that since this is a 2-level by default, we want to have that second level being at ground level rather than the 10-meter up. It is by default. And we can't really push this down further unless we want to start deleting that street. And I don't particularly want to. I don't want to lose those office buildings right there. That would actually not be a bad idea, but it would just dump highway traffic straight into that roundabout. And it's not necessarily worth it. On the other hand, okay, we're going to have to delete a little bit. And that's just, going to blow up. Well, if we lose it, we lose it. And that was my phone, not yours. Don't worry. Okay. Put my phone back on mute. And hope the person I'm waiting on doesn't try to message me. Alright. So we've done the gross part. This is a 6-lane. I'm going to go ahead. You know what? We have lost this fight. I'm going to go ahead and turn this into an 8-lane right here. I don't think that there's any choice in the matter. And I can delete 1 or 2 of those buildings, or I can just go for broke and delete it all. So, yeah. You didn't vote for me, so too bad. Okay. And let's take off all snapping. And if you happen to hear my neighbor's angry dog in the background, I'm sorry. I've got the window open. It's a lovely day in between thunderstorms. Been actually out planting a garden all afternoon. Working on it's like my 3rd or 4th run. Real quick note, when connecting a road like this, check to make sure that it doesn't put in something like, a U-turn right there. That is not something you want. It's not something you need. We do have stop lights there. Let's replace them with stop signs. Now, right now that's 3-lane coming in. I'm going to go ahead just to tidy this up a hair. Okay, we've got snap to geometry on, so we're good. Just for the sake of lane math, we'll go ahead and upgrade that. Which means that also gets upgraded, and that looks better. Okay. That's the first part of the problem. Now, is that a 6-lane? Yeah. So here we'll go ahead and just try to leave it as 3. We've got all of our snapping on. That could come a little bit closer, I suppose. Let me do that. Actually, you know what? Instead of deleting just one segment, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to delete both segments. Coming all the way down there, and then we'll reinforce that. Now, what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to go ahead and continue this 6-lane down a little bit. Turn snapping back on. Make Make sure that's selected as 6-lane. No, that need to be 6-lane with continuous, my favorite tool. Took a while to get used to it, and now that I've got it, I don't use anything else. Okay, so we run that right there, and then for sake of something, we'll run a 2-link connection back there, just on chance somebody needs to go to one of the mining pits rather than cutting all the way down. Okay, so we fix that. Now let's shrink our offset 1 to 5. Yeah, that picked up just fine. Perfect. Road tools again. Delete the crosswalk. Put in a stop sign. Put a no left. I don't see a left turn, but let's just make sure. So let's make sure and certain. Okay. Then we've got the headache with the rail. Is that going to be a headache? Okay. Well, since it already goes down here, I think what I'm just going to do, for the sake of my sanity, is allow that to go underground. Before it jumps overground. And we've got some strange behavior right there as well. Now, this bridge originally had been part of this coming on and off, and we're not doing that now. So let's really reconsider what exactly we want here. Do we want this to somehow become an SPI while we do this? Do we want this to become a diverging diamond interchange? Do we want it to skip everything and say, I don't care, and then quote Buckcherry? The good version of their song, just so you know. But really, there's no room here for the pre-built SPI. There is not. You know, now I'm half wondering if we don't have this turned the wrong way, because going underneath it would be a little bit more useful. But we are going to make this work, and this is going to take a good bit of doing, because we know that this road traffic was coming here and going down, and deleting that access point, deleting that interchange, does absolutely nothing good for anybody. So why don't, this may ultimately cause more traffic congestion the longer I look at this. I think I see a solution, so bear with me here. All right, we're going to get our 6-lane. Cross there at 170 degrees at 7.5 height. This is probably temporary. Well, I know this is going to be temporary because we still have to hook up that rail. Okay, that's one part of this problem solved. Let me zone out. Let me come down. We're going to upgrade this exit. to 2-lane carefully. We're going to have to delete that bridge segment and redo it. Okay, we've done that. And then now, again, knowing what we need to do here, we are going to, this is going to be a test. If this doesn't work, we'll have to come back and do a major reset. So just to make our lane math make sense, we're going to turn this section, all of this section, into a 5-lane. So if they want to go through and up, they can. If they want to go over and up, they can. If they want to go mid lane, they can. They can do all of those things. Now, when this comes in here right now, it's only 2-lane. That is not enough for this traffic volume. And then we'll likely want to repeat the same process on the other side while we're at it. And for some reason, it's saying that there's not enough room right there to turn that into a 3, which is really inconvenient. So I'm going to turn off our geometry tool. Oh, it's not letting me split that at all right there. Okay, well, if we can't, we can't. This is as close to sanity it'll let me work. That's as close to sanity as it'll let me work. Okay, change that into a 3. Change that into a 2. 1 goes off, 2 go down, 2 come down. That turns into a 3 right there. 2 coming, 1 coming. This should turn into a 3 right here, but it won't because of the bridge. Fixing that. Then for right now, that should turn into a 4, but that's probably going to have to get upgraded back to a 5 in a minute. And here we run into another problem because we do have concrete pillars that want to go where that is. And like, I'm not even mad at the game on that one. That means a concrete pillar. I want to make sure that the roads I'm driving on are supported. So we'll have to scoot a little bit, see if that helps. Okay, so that worked a second ago before we put that there. So let's see if we can get it to work by deleting it. Where exactly is that post trying to go that it won't go? Okay, so it's telling me that I need to scoot. That over that way, but it's also saying that this is too close. So it's absolutely confused the game traffic then. There, fixed. Very fixed. Okay, now that we've done all of that just to fix that bridge, let's go ahead and finish up fixing our lane math down here. And turn that into a 5-lane coming all the way down there. Okay, so far so ish. So far so ish is how we're approaching this. All right, then once again, we'll get back on our diverging timing kick. That node has chosen violence right there. Okay, so it's not even. I wish it was even. It's not even. It's so not even it hurts me, so we're going to try to make it even. See if starting on this end helps it adjust faster. Feel like the Jeopardy theme song should be playing at this point. Okay, that does connect that. I think I can live with that. We'll go back in a second and fix up a couple of those other issues up there. Now, I do hate to put that right there that sharply, but there is a on-ramp in my hometown that works very similar to that. So like I know why I'm trying to do better. It's not always possible. All right, let's kill all of those. I almost wish. I almost wish that would work. All right. However, one thing that is not working here, take a look at this. I don't want people to be able to make a left turn here. Oh, well, that's not true. I do want people to make a left turn there. Never mind. I'm just not going to like them if they make a left turn there. That's all. I won't like them, but I want them to be able to make it. Okay, so we got a vaguely sloppy diverging diamond interchange right here. About the only way to make this less sloppy is if this was cutting across straight. And while we could make that cut across straight right there and dip down, I reserve the right to do that later. Okay, now as far as the rail line goes, we do have this line that cuts up through here. I have no idea what its height is. It's gotta be... Well, it is not going to let me elevate over that bridge. Well, that's a mild inconvenience. And I'm honestly trying to remember. I don't think we needed that line to intersect right there. Pretty sure we didn't. So let me do this. Oh, now it's going to be rude with me. Come on. Why are you not jumping across? You should be. There's no reason for you not to be. If I set you at a 10 unit elevation, we go. Well, everything about that particular exchange was rude and toxic. And we're going to have to delete more of this over here. Okay, it's a snake of a railway track, but I think it suits our purposes. Okay, we've still got 2 more highway connections to hook up, and then we're more or less okay. The only way we could be more okay is if we connect this road nubbin up here. I'm going to do that on the hope that I don't regret it. So let's find out. Because as it stands, that's elevated. That's not, but it can be. Well, that does unfortunately get rid of that as it stands. So let's go ahead. Not gonna be the most fun off ramp in the world, but it's an off ramp. Okay, and then that will then again leave us with another rail minor headache. But a 3.8% grade should fix it. Now, the last thing that we're missing. Oh, no. We're missing more than one last thing. Hang on. Okay, so that was 4-lane. Let's get snap to geometry back on. This was 3-lane. And this was 4-lane because I had it connecting right down there to Applegate Highway. To swing off right down there. And I think, in the spirit of giving everybody in this town PTSD, we'll go ahead and make that a interchange in and of its own right. And you know what? I'm not doing a 10% downgrade. Yeah, we're just putting that on one side. Never mind. Just never mind. We'll fix that back to 2 lane. Although since that's 2 lane, this should be 4 lane. And that should be 2 lane. Okay, I think that reconnects all the rail. That reconnects all the highway. That gives us multiple extra connections. Then we've got this little water pipe issue right here. Why do we have a water pipe issue? One of those cases where whatever we installed didn't have pipes running to it, so we took extra steps, I'm certain. That shouldn't disrupt anything, but just be on the safe side. Okay, then we exit out of underground mode and we play. And we watch everybody up here completely freak the F out. So let me save as the entire traffic simulation goes. Dude, what? And I get more middle fingers. No, I'm just going to leave it at that. I get more middle fingers. All right, now when you do a change like this, that the only thing you can do is to sit back and wait, because all of the math on this has got to be remathed. All the game has got to be like, what the do I do with this? And when it gets to that point, every single one of these vehicles, plus all the other vehicles that are coming in from around here, getting ready to come to this junction, are all going to be like, what the do I do here? And we just got to give it time for them to find the shortest routes, and that's going to create some congestion here and there as they get things sorted. And it'll likely cause more congestion later. I mean, this right here, we've got a ton of vehicles and they're causing congestion because they're trying to turn left right here, and I don't want them to. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on a no left. That'll force them to go straight, force some of them to despawn. They should be able to hit this roundabout and turn left if they need to get back all that way. But where they're having to shrink down, I think that's causing more of a headache. So let's give this an even worse headache. We'll go ahead and bump both of these up to 4 coming out of there. Then we'll come over with our 8-lane tool. And we'll just upgrade that road network. So that should help funnel things through faster. But we're running into a similar problem right over here. A lot of these guys are trying to turn up over here, or these guys are. We can either force that roundabout, which will be a colossal headache, or we can just let it pass through. I'm on the let it cook phase at the moment. And then we also have this as a snag. All of while this exit was being used before, because these guys don't really know what to do, they're using it in excess. I suspect that once this clears up and these guys get used to the new traffic patterns, that should go away. But what's not going away is, stoplight. I think we'll be just fine with a stop sign right here. And I'm going to kill the turn left. I don't want people turning left right there. And I missed a crosswalk. So get rid of that. Although I kind of feel like I need to put a crosswalk right there. Okay, so we lost a couple buildings right over here, lost a couple of offices. Not happy about that. We'll get them brought back later. But I think that, I mean, automatically you can tell that cleared up the traffic problem right there. That did solve it. So we can be happy with that and see how that changes our game going forward. Okay, so saving, overriding, and that did take what? That took 40 minutes itself. Wow. Okay. But we got it fixed. And sometimes City Skylines 2 is about really getting in there and really working those fine details, like lane math. Yippee. Okay. Now, the other side of this coin, the other thing I wanted to work on that I'm going to try to rush through, because this really shouldn't take very long, is I'm going to go over here. We're going to set parallel. We're going to set it at 1 apart. I'm going to line it up right there. We're good, but we're not good. Because I want to cross all of these bodies of water, and this map is doing the thing that this map has done all map long. So let's come over here. And now I'm giving us a chance to build up our income while I work on this, which is why I'm playing on this paused rather, or playing on this at 2 speed rather than paused. 2 speed so we can take advantage of the daylight, and running so I can get our money back up. As we try to do something about whatever is causing our problems through there. Oh, I got them all in one pass. Cool. Okay, so I've got 2 ways to connect this right here. I can either make a big junction here and force everybody to come up and over, or I can buy those tiles. And I think I'm just going to make a decent junction right there. Um, shoot. And by decent, I mean another one of these. Okay, which means we're going to have to pause. So I hope I enjoyed that little bit amount of money I made. Well, I mean, I did make almost $1 million, so things I wish I could say about my career in real life. In other news, please be sure to give me a like, a follow, a subscribe. And if you enjoy fantasy horror novels or cyberpunk urban fantasy, be sure to check me out on Amazon by the same name, Joshua E.B. Smith. What can I say? When I find a brand that sticks with me, that I like, I stick with it. Okay. Um, Wish I could make this whole thing elevated because I will be running roads under, around, against. Um, Actually, though, we will not. Well, no, we kind of will. We kind of might want a highway exit right there. I was going to say we shouldn't need a highway exit, so shouldn't need a cloverleaf, should just need a tombstone. But, um, I think if I put this here, it'll solve a future me problem. And I'm all about solving problems for future me. Usually, future me hates past me. See, I've got real life problems with short term memory. So, past me always forgets stuff, and future me has to deal with it, and future me and past me, it's a good thing that they'll never meet. I hope I can get away with just buying that. But just to be on the safe side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a road right there, just so I don't delete too much. I have to come back to that later, but for right now, no. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of this entire trumpet. And since I'm in the square buying mood, I think feel like I just bought squares I didn't want to buy. I only bought them in a different order than I intended. Okay, well, we may as well just leave it on pause and just delete everything then. Okay, so this isn't going to be final for this section of highway either. This is only like that to get me up to there. Probably can say the same right there. And definitely right there. But I'm going to ignore that for just a few minutes. Completely. Oh, did I make that a 4-lane by accident? I did. Oh well. Oh no, lanes. How terrible. Horrible. Worst. Okay. That redoes that entire highway network. Don't like it. We'll fix it eventually. Have to buy a lot of tiles. Don't need to buy them today. Okay. And that corrected that, but also allowed that to stay connected. We're good. Let's unpause the game. Okay. And there's a couple of other things we can get rid of too for the moment. We can get rid of that. And then this now follows a highway intersection that no longer needs to be followed. So I'm just going to go ahead and leave that 8-lane alone right there. Oh, come on. You. It's not as close to that highway as I want right there. And we're going to do our best to fix it. I'd like to go ahead and get this run underneath the edge of this now. Oh, will it not allow an 8-lane to fit? Oh, well, that's not ideal. Six lanes will though, right? Can we upgrade it to an 8-lane? No. Well, rude. Okay, well, that's honestly, that's fine. We will make it work. There's me making it work. Okay, so while this bridge and road and everything else right now goes to nowhere, it will be going to somewhere, many other somewheres in the very near to immediate future. But for right now, let's take stock really quick. We completely redid this midtown interchange in a massive way. We replaced the roundabout with a full scale four leaf clover interchange. We added a couple of bonus diverging diamonds coming onto it and off of it for ease of transport. We had to redo this whole rail section as well. Now, it looks really spaghettified, and I'm not happy with it. I reserve the right to come in sometime later off stream and be like, hey, let's clean this up. We added a couple of other network suggestions over here just to get people to and from the back roads and the back sides of this area with minimal headache. We'll improve upon that. With a couple of extra roundabouts just for the sake of speed, we redid all sorts of number of bridges and rail bridges and everything else. So we also added an extra exit for people leaving down here over at Copper Bluff. Copper Bluff? Yeah, Copper Bluff. Okay. And that's on top of the major port we installed last video, which for me was technically this morning. So we did all of that. We did lose some office buildings through here. It's nothing too terrible. And honestly, those large office buildings right there, it didn't quite mesh right to begin with. I'll go ahead and fill these squares in just a hair for the sake of development, but they honestly didn't really work there as they were. Now, those should work a little bit better, although those are going to be right behind a crematorium, so go to work, smell the dead. To each their own, I suppose. Let me run a one-way alley down here. Fix that just a hair. Okay, that gives something for people to do, I guess. And an overlook of the highway system coming in. I'm just going to double check. Yeah, those are stop signs. They can get onto these roads. We look good. Except one mini issue right there. Let's fix that. That is still part of a 6-lane junction. And is it not letting me upgrade? Is my math wrong? No, my math is right. Oh, that's right. Those are 5s, not 4s. Okay. All right. Well, we can't do anything about that. Okay, but we can fix that leg right there. Because instead of a 3, that is still a 2. That's the one that the game didn't want me to adjust. Well, we'll go over here to 5. We'll take off geometry. We'll pull it away slightly. And we give it that. Okay, what I think I'm going to do then, just to wrap things up, we're going to go over here, get some vegetation. I'm going to get some thick oak trees, adult sized, adult only, cluster. I prefer cluster than direct planting most of the time. I am going to shrink the brush size down pretty intensively. I'm going to mix in some oak and some laden. I think oaks are my biggest trees that we can sort of wedge in here. Just kind of to improve the view coming in off the highway. Make it look a little less, I don't know, terrible. All right, because we got enough terrible over here with all of those smokestacks choking the air out of the city. All right, so shy of going through and adding some low density residential in these neighborhoods down here to fill in the gaps a little bit, and definitely over here, I think we are good to call it for today. A second time. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Josh. Thank you very much for tuning in to another episode of Dead Men Streaming. I know this episode really, you know, look, it was highway management. I get it. If you skip this one to the end, it's really not going to feel too bad. Just back up for a few minutes, get the recap before you see the next video. Thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful day. Be safe out there. Be safe. Be happy. Be good. And may you drive on better roads than these. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Josh. Thank you for tuning in to Dead Men Streaming. And I'll see you all again soon.